Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think so. On on the same similarly, did you see the news this week of the new kid on the block here, XPeng, debuting a new form factor, if you want to call that form factor for humanoid robot that has a lot of people talking.
Dude, it's like because everybody was just doing like male look, and now they came out with a female. Do you have a video where she's walking?
Yeah, let me look one up. But I do want to point out, even the male one is like, look, it's kind of like muscular and stuff. Looks a little bit like me.
Not even in your dreams, Ramil.
That's funny. Hold on, let me pull up a video of this thing walking. Um, XPeng XPeng Iron, right?
Uh-huh. So while
Okay,
you're
here it is.
searching, yeah, you find it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let me share real quick. Riverside's got to make it a little bit quicker to share because I got to click like 10 buttons here just to make this thing share. So, again, here's the XPeng robot that they're calling Iron. A lot of people, when they saw this, they thought it was actually a human walking.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, there's a human under there. That's actually a robot. You could see kind of the movement. It's a little like jagged in some cases, but has a more human like walk there.
They call them the gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has a more human like gait. And they're like, is there a human in there? And so they actually cut off the skin to show that it was actually a robot. You can see the metal leg. And you see they're peeling back the skin there. Skin. like cut off the leg there to show what's inside. Now do the other side. So this is the new kid on the block here for robots.
Dude, the Chinese are eating our lunch in robotics, man.
Yeah,
And then you now go back and see freaking like Optimus, and Optimus like, dude.
Well, okay, we saw Optimus dancing earlier, so I mean that one
It's not as
it looked a
smooth.
little bit better, but it's not
It's
like this. It has
it,
different
it,
movements.
dude, that's a human level like movement, right? So I was
Yeah.
looking into in a little bit of they call it the degrees of freedom and the
Mm-hmm.
number of joints that this thing has. So just to give you an idea, this robot it has about 60 joints, which basically there's going to be some sort of mechanics, whether it's an actuator or tendon look like, right? And the hands alone, it has 22 degrees of freedom. So
Mm-hmm.
you're almost looking into almost 72 degrees of freedom that this device, this robot can move. It's
Yeah.
quite similar to how much we can move ourselves.
It's got a lot of flexible joints, but if you're wanting to get one of these flexible female bots, it's gonna cost you. It's 150,000 is what they're estimating. So you're paying a lot for these extra joints and for that flexibility of that body that you saw walking down the runway there. So
What was the movie
they
that
maybe they're going for a certain demographic. I don't know.
there was a movie that you was like, man, like Megan Fox,
Yeah, what was it? I don't remember.
the
I don't remember
surveillance or
anymore. Yeah,
surveillance, something
something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 6'7".
I don't know what the 6'7"
I
is
don't even
had to do
know.
with
It's just like it seemed like it could fit there. I don't know.
but
Janalfo can let me know.
150K, 150K, it's a big difference from the 25K from Optimus. I don't know. I feel that I don't think that 150K, depending how easy it is to train it, um, because we know based on the K scale guys, they were trying to get actually almost the cost is like 10K. Then you
Hmm.
have the Chinese guys saying that they can even get you one in 7K. So
Yeah,
maybe
R1, the Unitary R1 is 6K, they're saying, but it's a little
um,
smaller.
but
But
remember, the hardware itself maybe 6K, but the
mhm,
brain power, which is the Nvidia or whatever, just alone, that's gonna cost you
yeah.
4 to 5K. Just
Hmm.
the computer, for lack of better word.
Yeah. The NVIDIA Thor, I think, is 3K,
Mhm.
3,500 if you get the development kit, which is what the 1X Neo is going to ship with. Um, so I don't know. There's just looking at the bill of materials, right? Just looking at the hardware, you know, there's a floor that you're going to be contending with, but these guys are like going way past it, 150K. So I would imagine this one, they're going to be, it's probably going to be commercial, right? I think so. In There's a big push in China, right? We talked a little bit about it before. They're having their population, they have a huge population, but it's starting to like go down. So in terms of where they want their economy to be and things like that, they're trying to shore up any deficiencies they might have. Population. So that's why their government is pushing real big into robotics. That's why you see a lot of this development with all of these different companies. They're all pumping out these different humanoids, and these are just the ones that are bubbling to the surface. We've seen like 4 or 5 big ones, but there's 100 of these different companies out there across the world that are pumping out humanoid robots. So they'll think there's just these few. There are actually a lot of robot companies out there creating their humanoids. So for China, they're banking on having these humanoids available so they can have labor, right? So they're thinking they're going to have 62 million jobs replaced by robots by 2050. This is coming from Morgan Stanley worldwide, is what they're thinking. So it's a good chunk of robots over the next 30 years that it's going to be replacing actual physical labor jobs that we've got here. They're thinking it's a $5 trillion global market by 2050 over the next 35 years.
Yeah,
So,
the landscape is going to be interesting because America is not going to allow to have like Chinese robots. So, which is interesting, right? So Tesla has a good edge here. Once again, I'm pretty sad that the open source project, in this case, K-Scale, is just flop. So there has to be a way to have an open source type of a robot. So in that way, you let the community keep developing it. We have seen it on Windows and Linux, right? Like when you have like Microsoft and then Linus Torvald came up with the operating system Linux, like for all, and then basically it was from the Unix one, and he tried to do the open source and catch up, right? Now even
mhm.
like freaking Microsoft and Apple, they use underneath some sort of Linux. So I I feel that maybe that has to happen too. Maybe the K-Scale guys were not able to push it through, but somebody will have to create an open source robot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there's a need for it. We need to have a little bit more competition here in the U.S. on the U.S. side, right? We've got a couple of them, right? Neo that have at least bubbled up and made it to the socials. Optimus, but there's always a need for a third and fourth player, right? So there's certainly maybe a market gap here, at least for the U.S. From what we've seen. I mean, we have Boston Dynamics and those guys, so that they could be filling that gap too. We just haven't seen their humanoids necessarily come out that are meant for like consumers, I think.
Mm.
But there's a lot here to understand. But just know that these are coming